Okay, y'all, excuse my cap or whatever. Although I'm not one of those girls who come on YouTube and apologize for not having on any makeup. That's silly to me. But I will say excuse my hat. Okay, so I'm just sitting here organizing my wardrobe and everything because I'll be filming a film in North Carolina in a few weeks. So as I was just preparing my wardrobe and everything, the let me tell y'all something. This documentary has really been like heavy on my mental and on my heart today. So I'll admit, documentaries like this where I know the outcome, I know what happened. It takes me a while to mentally prepare to watch it. Just like the Romika Meeks situation, it took me a while to watch YouTube videos and just listen to other people discuss it. Because it's always when the kids are involved, I'm telling you, it just rips my heart. So I've been hearing people talk about the documentary, and I'm a mother myself. I have a 16-year-old and a 10-year-old. In these situations, y'all, I'm tearing up now. I'm trying not to. Like, just as the Romika Meeks situation, I cannot imagine my son going through what she went through. Like, you heard your mother get shot. All you can do is wait on the police. Like, imagine like being a child and witnessing that. Anyway, okay, let's start from the beginning. So I finally watched it like 2 nights ago, and I just can, what I don't understand, I understand it, but I don't. So I understand, civil cases and criminal cases. I understand that 9 times out of 10, when the police is called, if it's a civil case with your neighbor or with whatever, anyone on your street, it's not necessarily considered a criminal case. And yes, the police sometimes 9 times out of 10 can't do anything unless it's someone, a domestic situation, or someone physically assaulted someone, or a criminal case, right? However, in these particular situations where the police is called almost every day, every week, several times a month, it seems as if there should be something in place. Even though it's civil, it seems as if there should be something in place where the police are able to do something, because it shouldn't get to the point where someone is laying out on the ground shot. Now the police can do something about it. Like, come on. Like, I just feel like it could have been prevented. This was like every day, right? The lady was literally calling the police almost every day, at least every other day. So it would seem as if the township, the police department you would have said, okay, listen, there's children out there. We need to do something about this before someone gets hurt, right? Not until someone gets hurt, we can do something about it. That's just my opinion, y'all. Like, don't come for me in the comments. That's just my opinion. If the police is being called that many times, I don't care if it's a civil situation or not. It seems as if something should something should happen before someone ends up dead. It's so unfortunate, because in my mind, the police calls are for something, right? It's not like these people are bothering this lady for no reason. It's not like the children or calling her Karen for no reason. It's not as if every person on the block has gotten into it with this woman for no reason. And it's like, it's just so unfortunate, because in my mind, things can be prevented. And that's just how I think. After the 10th or 15th call, right, which was probably in 1 week from the woman to the police. And, I know, clearly, even in the documentary, I don't know if you guys heard that, but in the very beginning of the documentary, it was a Caucasian female officer, And she was standing there talking to her, and then she started walking off, and then she was like, what a bit, or she said something, but that's when they edited. Did you guys hear that? When she I was like, oh my. So it's like the police officers knew, that this woman is she don't have anything else to do but call the police on kids. And I just really, really, really hate that, because it's not as if it was only one call per year, and they're like, okay, this is civil. Sorry, I almost cursed. It was almost every day. So if nothing can be done about it, I mean, what was even the point of the police coming out if they knew that they weren't going to technically do anything about it because it was civil? I mean, I know they got to come out. I'm rambling at this point. And as a person who doesn't like children, I can't even call the woman a racist. Hell, she didn't even like the little something. Let me clarify something. When I said as a woman who doesn't like children, I didn't mean myself, guys. I was talking about her. So as I was saying, as a woman who doesn't like children, like, why would you move over there? Because if most of the children were already living there before you, then I'm pretty sure you saw those kids outside before you moved in or whatever, or as you were moving in, you saw the amount of children that lived in that area. If you were there already before most of the children, start living in that area or whatever, I mean, it is what it is. Go ahead and move then. Now, I understand everyone does not have the funds to up and move, but if it's that serious where you're calling the police every day because some children are in a field that you don't own, being children, not trying to steal cars, not selling drugs, not smoking weed, not shooting dice, okay? These children weren't even teenagers. Like, these were kids playing and having fun. If that disturbs you so much, move out. Move. Because clearly the kids aren't moving. You know what I mean? Make a conscious decision to prepare to move. And if you're that disturbed in an area, move. I saw someone else say that on Facebook, and I'm like, when you think about it though, no. Because she claims she wants peace. Well, she claims she wanted peace, but she really didn't. She loved calling there are people like that. They love always having something to feed off of. She probably would have hated to live in a really quiet community. She really, she didn't want peace for real. She stayed there. She didn't want peace, guys. Some people enjoy the attention of having cops come out and, that types of stuff. Those types of situations, they make people feel important who have absolutely nothing going on in their lives. And it's so unfortunate that there are young people like that, but mostly, I hate to say it, but it's a lot of elderly people, older people that they're just bored. They don't have visitors. They don't have much family left, or they've ran their family away, and they have to have something going on. But she was just miserable. Like, I would love hearing, I think, I can imagine, I would love hearing a bunch of kids outside playing. Probably not all the time, all day, every day. But, it's not, it's like, what did she expect? Like, the kids just not to go outside and not laugh, not talk, not run, not play? Like, what are you talking about, lady? Like, go move to your nearest island, okay, in whichever ocean of your preference. Like, just go. You move into an apartment complex. And to be quite honest, it isn't. From looking at the documentary, it wasn't like. How can I say this without sounding? It wasn't like an exclusive, area or, a gated community and, an expensive area to live in. It was quite affordable. So go find somewhere else that's more quiet that suits you. I don't know. It's just so unfortunate. So let's go. The kid, listen. Okay, so on a lighter note, before we get to the end of my little review here, I wouldn't say it's a must watch because it was a very hard watch. Sometimes I have to bring myself to watch things, just like the movie with Danielle Deadwyler. She played Emmett Till's mother, Till. It took me years to watch that movie because I have a black son. Like, I don't want to watch, you know what I mean? And also, we know what happened to Emmett Till, right? So I already know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, I want to watch the movie and support it, and because I love Danielle Deadwyler, but it's just hard to watch because you know it's gonna come, and that was the situation with this documentary. I knew what the outcome was, and I know how sensitive I am, and it's so sad because I live on a dead end street, y'all. It's so quiet. It's no kids on this street really. And my son, he'll be out riding his bike, and I just find myself, and I'm tearing up right now because I don't think people understand, like, the anxiety that parents have. Like, most of the people on my street are elderly. Like, there's no traffic, or anything really. But I find myself, like, walking to the window or walking to the door just to make sure I see him. So I can't imagine, like, having a dispute with the neighbor and a neighbor does something to my child. Like, I would go, listen, I'm telling you guys, oh my God, I am crying on this freaking camera. Oh my God. I'm passionate about these types of situations. That's why I just had to make a video. Listen, if you're sensitive like me, I wouldn't say, just read some news articles. It was well put together. I like how, it was basically just police body cam footage, but it was well put together. I will give Netflix that. It was definitely a 10 out of 10 how the documentary was put together. Hey, if you're sensitive like me, I honestly, I wouldn't. I'm not going to force y'all to watch it. It was heartbreaking. A lot of people were discussing the after the children were told that their mom had passed away, their reactions. But it was their dad that came. It was his reaction that really got me. I really felt so sorry for him. Because imagine a regular evening, you get called by the police to come to this location of your ex's house, your kids' mom's house, because there's been an incident. You find out she's been shot, which is bad enough, okay? They thought she was gonna make it, and then being told she didn't make it. So now, instantly, you gotta break it to your children that their mom is not coming back. Yeah, his reaction tore me up. Like, I wasn't boo-hoo crying, like bawling, but just emotionally, like, I just, so unnecessary. And I can't blame her for going over there because I know me. If my son came running back home talking about someone took his bike or his tablet or whatever, you're not thinking that you're about to get shot. As a mother or a parent, you're not thinking that, okay, I'm about to go and defend and protect my child and obtain their belongings back or retrieve their belongings back. In your mind, you're doing what you're supposed to do as a parent. And you don't think about getting shot and not ever being able to be a parent again. While your son or your children are out there witnessing the chaos. It's just so crazy how fast stuff can happen, y'all. Like, I don't even know. So did the woman snatch the tablet out of his hand, or did he leave it on the ground and she went and got it? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. And I'm so these situations, they touch me so much because I know that I would have done the same thing. I would have went over there and got my son's stuff and asked her, why do you have my son's stuff? Why do you have a tablet? If he didn't leave it at your doorstep, if he didn't leave it on your patio, if he wasn't on your patio, like, why do you have his tablet, iPad, whatever it was? I don't know. I just think she was miserable. She didn't have anything else to do on a day-to-day basis, y'all. And then it was a situation with another guy about the gate. What did she try to do? Run over the gate or something? Like, girl, like, it's just... Oh God, those kids were just crying. Like, and when I see situations like that, I imagine, like, I feel so privileged and just so lucky and grateful. I just feel so privileged and lucky to still have, both of my parents, and not because my mama would have done the same thing. My mama would have went over there as fast as God. Man, listen. This type of stuff can happen to anyone. Any black, white, Asian, Latina. It doesn't matter. Like, everyone is going to protect their kids in situations like this. Especially with a neighbor like the Karen. Any one of us would have went over there. And then she shot her through the door. When I first heard about the story, I'm thinking that they were at least both outside and she really felt threatened by the woman. You shot her through the door. You just wanted to shoot your gun. Why are you shooting through the door? Now, I don't know if the mother was like yanking on the door. I don't know. She said she claimed the mother was beating on the door. But who wouldn't beat on your door if their child just came back running that you've, taken his possessions? Now, if your door had been open or actually kicked down and someone was coming into your home, that's a different story. You just wanted to shoot. And it seems like it was built. This is what I'm saying. People who are always calling the police like that, they already have, what they plan to do in their minds. They are basically preparing a track record, like a paper trail with the police up until they take on the action that they really want to do. So they create a paper trail at the police department. So basically they can say, well, I've called about this 10 times this month. I'm justified. You know what I mean? That's all it is. That's just like the show on the ID channel, Fear Thy Neighbor. It just seems like they already know that one day I'm going to pull out my gun and take action, right? But let me call the police at least once a week so that when I do decide to do what I really want to do, I can at least say that I was being harassed and I've been calling the police all year on this person. Listen, if these kids are teens and just hanging out outside her door or hanging out around her house, just smoking weed and bull crapping around, whatever, I may be able to understand the police calls. But this seems like a really cool, neighborhood where everyone else got along. It's just always one person. It's just always one person. Like that. Listen, that reminded me of being outside and stuff when I was little. Like, I used to be gone. Like, me and my friends, we used to ring people's doorbells and run and all types of stuff. So it's just like, God, like these situations could easily happen to anyone. I think people were a little more laid back and chill back in the 90s and accepted children to be children, more so back then. But this seemed like a really cool, chill neighborhood where everyone else got along. And she was like literally the only one that people had to walk on pins and needles with. And it's so unfortunate because she could have been the cool woman in the neighborhood. She could have been the woman, she could have been the cool woman in the neighborhood that looked out for the children, so nothing else could happen to them. But you decided to be the one that they have to look out for. It's so unfortunate. You could have been the one that gave away the good candy bars on Halloween. And you would have forever been like their Mima, their granny, their auntie of the neighborhood. Like it could have been so easy. Those kids would have grew up to love her and to look out for her. But oh God, so unfortunate. So unfortunate. And it's so crazy because it's like every police that talked to her, they're like, okay, yeah, you know what I mean? Even when the police came to her house after the guy reported her at the gate with her truck trying to like run the gate over, she wasn't trying to talk or cooperate. He was done with her. Can't even call it's like she was just a grumpy old woman. She wasn't even racist. She didn't like the white kids out there either. All right? She, even though, they claimed she was saying the N-word and all that. Yeah. But she was the type that didn't like any kids. She didn't like nobody, right? She should have just been living out in the woods. Okay? Oh, God. Let me get back to packing, y'all. I had to do this. This review. I do movie reviews and all that stuff anyway, but I really had to talk about this. As a parent, these types of situations really hit me, and it just makes you more prayerful, and just ask God to continue to. All right, guys, I'm about to end this video, but the woman Susan, she was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Yeah. And it looks like she's already deteriorating. If you Google her, from what she looks like in the documentary, it's been 2 years, what she looks like now, she looks like she's already deteriorating. Imagine spending the rest of your life in jail because you don't like children, or just because you were so bored that you had to create chaos, or that you needed attention so bad that you had to call the police every day. Like, sometimes it's just best to just sit back and chill and accept things for what they are. And hey, I mean, it's like, what was the purpose? It doesn't make sense. So what I'm going to do is stop trying to make it make sense, because it doesn't make sense. It was unnecessary. If you're emotional like me, honestly, just read the article. Don't watch the documentary. That body cam footage was brutal. I just... It's sad. I hope her children are doing well. Thank God they at least have their father. At least they have one parent now. Thank God for that. I know the grandmother is very active and, all that. I don't know, y'all. I like how it was, I like how they put the document together. So I'll give that a 10 out of 10. But it was very hard to watch. Bye, y'all.